Mailbox Vineyard really holds a special place in my heart and my memory banks, as it was the first reserve wine that I made for the 1997 vintage, blended in the spring of 1999. So it was a small, roughly 300 case production of single vineyard Merlot that was growing at the bottom of the big block, or the big vineyard, aptly named because it's our biggest vineyard. At the bottom of the vineyard, it butts up against the mouth of the driveway where the real mailboxes are. So I thought of calling it Mailbox Vineyard, hence Mailbox Merlot. I've always loved alliteration. And at the time I thought, well, what'll make this wine even more appealing besides its fantastic characteristics as being this great mountain Merlot with plenty of depth and richness and chocolatiness and deep dark fruit and a little bit of spice to it, is that this was a one-of-a-kind wine. We would never be able to make this wine again because after the harvest of 97, we had to pull out the entire 20-acre vineyard because of phylloxera. And we had to do this to roughly 90% of our property between 1995 and 1998. And on the replant for the big vineyard, we chose to plant 5 new clones of Cabernet Sauvignon. And we moved the Merlot to another part of the property. So in 2001, I get out in the market and I sell this single vineyard Mailbox Merlot, and I tell people this very simple story. Single vineyard Merlot, buy the real mailboxes, and you'll never see this wine again because it's a one-off. And people loved it and bought it, and then for the next, 5 years, people continuously asked me when the next Mailbox Merlot was going to be released. That name just really hit a mark. And it was very frustrating that we couldn't deliver on it. So by 2003, I knew that the lower bowl and the terrace section was producing profound Merlot, and it was going to be our reserve, our single vineyard reserve bottling going into the future. But I told my guys, I said, look, I'm not going to call this the lower bowl Merlot. It just doesn't sound right. And I've been haunted by this name Mailbox for years. So I asked them to put an old fake mailbox at the top of the lower bowl so you could see it from the tasting room, and we would rechristen that block the Mailbox Vineyard. Took a few pictures of me checking the mail. Oh, no mail again. And then off we went. And now the 2019 version, which we're just releasing now, is now our 17th consecutive bottling from that beautiful terrace block that is producing, I think, some of the most profound Merlot in all of Napa and in California. Still small production, somewhere between 300 and 500 cases. And it's as good as Merlot gets. Pure expression of high elevation. And what made this vineyard really stand out was that in year 7, which was 03, the first year I designated as the reserve Merlot and the new Mailbox Vineyard, was that it developed this new sort of earthy, spicy component that was quite subtle but distinctly new. And I remember when I smelled that 03 that had been in bottle for a year and a half right before we released it, I remember thinking, where did this note come from? Does anybody remember this? And nobody did. We didn't really notice that note until the wine had been in bottle for about a year and a half. And now we can taste it in the fruit, and it's thoroughly integrated into the block. And also this block is now, I think it was planted in 1997, so it's now 25 years old, as a lot of the vineyards in our property are, and they are all at their peak producing some of the best fruit this estate has ever produced. So enjoy this singular estate bottling, small quantity. I do advise getting it as soon as you can, and cheers to the enduring lure of the Mailbox Vineyard.